NTA International News.
Vice President Osinbajo in Kaduna, 6 people with integrity to lead the nation to greater heights. Nigeria celebrates Mother's Day. Benin Republic goes to the polls to elect new president to succeed Boni Yayi. It's good to have you join us on NTA International News. We are reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria. I'm Taiwo Odusonya. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has advised Nigerians to always ensure that only people with integrity and good character are put in leadership positions, because such leaders would remain committed to fulfilling promises made to the people. The Vice President gave the advice at the annual Ketuk Gwang Cultural Festival in Kaduna State. State House correspondent Jide Onifade has the details.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who on arrival at Kagoma, the headquarters of Jemaah local government area, inspected some road projects, was responding to the theme of the cultural festival titled "The Importance of Fulfilling Political Promises in Promoting Good Governance." He says the APC will deliver on its campaign promises because of the choices of good leaders the people had made.
Those who are determined to do good in this country, those who are determined to govern well, those who are determined to ensure that the common man gets a fair deal in this country, those who are determined to ensure that the poor in this country are treated correctly, that they get their just dues, that there are roads, hospitals, schools, jobs for all of us. We must encourage them. We must make sure that we don't allow any kind of division to blur our commitment to the good of this nation.
Governor Nasir El-Rufai, while commending the Vice President who was visiting the state for the 3rd time since his election, says the state would continue to provide good governance to the people of the state. Though the resources from the Federation account are dwindling, he however says efforts are being made to improve internally generated revenue.
The purpose of holding political office is to make and fulfill promises. We believe that the only way our society will develop is for us to undertake projects that advance the cause of society.
And if you go into the town now, you'll find that 85% of all the roads are completed. That it means he has kept his promises.
This is not all about bringing dignitaries together to further development in the land. It is also about teaching upcoming youths the cultural values that have over the years bind the people together in peace and unity. From Kagoma in Kaduna State, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Osinbajo, has called for urgent need to protect the girl child from all forms of abuse as presently being witnessed. She said this on the occasion of this year's Mother's Day celebration. State House correspondent Jide Onifade attended the special service organized for mothers by the State House Chapel. His report.
The wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Osinbajo, described the girl child in the society today as greatly endangered with the numerous challenges the girl child is made to face. More dangerous are the issues of rape and all sorts of abuses the girl child is exposed to, pointing out that the girls of today are mothers of tomorrow. And as mothers, they would be saddled with the task of teaching children the right way in an orderly society.
If they are stolen and raped, beaten and abandoned, if they are not trained, they will not be the mothers we have today, tomorrow, and they will not be celebrated.
In a word of admonition, Pastor Becky Eneche urged mothers to do more in showing the right direction to their children and to pray for them always.
Ensure that your parents are well taken care of.
This was followed with a cutting of cake and presentation of gifts to the First Lady of the country, Aisha Buhari, received on her behalf by the wife of the Vice President, who also receives a personal recognition from mothers in the country.
Men and women of Nigeria, we present this bouquet to you as God bless you. Happy Father's Day.
In the State House, Jude Onifade, NTA News.
In the meantime, Nigerians in the United States have come together to pray for Nigeria and President Muhammadu Buhari in his stride to move the country forward. Adeyemi Omojola Fatoba has the report.
Today we gather together to pray for Nigeria, not just because Nigeria needs divine intervention, but also because such corporate prayer is ordained by God.
President of the Alliance of Yoruba Organization of Clubs and Associations in Washington, D.C. area, Dr. Adeleke Otunuga there, on the reason for standing in the gap for the Buhari administration and the nation at large. Tagged Prayer Day 2016 with the theme, Our Country, Our Hope, religious leaders, one after the other, led the people in special prayers, committing President Muhammadu Buhari, his team, and the well-meaning programs lined up for a prosperous Nigeria into the hands of God.
We ask, oh God, that you will take over in our country and you will bring restoration. You will bring healing upon our nation. In the name of Jesus.
The man of God, who also emphasized the efficacy of prayers, called on Nigerians to truly serve and believe in God, resist evil, and be patient with government.
The prayer will be answered. But why? If we have believing. You can go to church or go to mosque be 24 hours. If you don't have believing, why are you wasting your time?
We love to come back home to our country. We want to feel good about going home.
We know that the country has been riddled with too many corrupt people, and recently we have a change of government. So the only thing that can sustain the government is to have effective prayers.
He will hear our prayer, and he's really listening to our prayers, because I can see developments and things that the government is really putting right.
Chargé d'Affaires, Nigerian Embassy in Washington, D.C., Mr. Akeem Balogun, described the spiritual move as the right thing to do and urged them to continue in the same spirit.
Let us continue to strive for the good of Nigeria. There is a lot that can be achieved. It is not enough for us to come here to the United States, enjoy the good things of the United States, and forget about home.
He's watching even Nigeria now. God's eyes on the sparrow.
From the Abuja Country Club in Laurel, Maryland, Adeyemi Omojola Fatoba, NTA News.
Members of the Alumni Association of National Institute have been advised to rally support for the federal government's anti-graft campaign, given their influential disposition in the country. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed made the appeal in a lecture at the 36th Annual General Meeting of the association. Anthony Forsen reports.
In his lecture titled, The Change Agenda, The Journey So Far, the minister maintained that the federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari is determined to rid the country of corruption.
This is undoubtedly one of the best platforms anyone can ask for, considering the pedigree of the members of the association and the high rating of NIPS itself.
On the state of the nation's economy, the minister said it is heartwarming that policies being pursued is putting the economy in shape. The minister, who chronicled the myriad of challenges the present administration met on ground, expressed optimism that President Muhammadu Buhari has exhibited a high sense of diligence in handling the problems for the overall good of Nigerians.
Because unless we fight corruption to a standstill, nothing else we do will yield positive results. It was corruption that prolonged the war against Boko Haram and dispatched many soldiers and civilians to their early graves. It was corruption that ensured that while oil was selling for over $100 per barrel, we had nothing to show for the windfall. It is because of corruption that even though our budget has increased from less than 1 trillion naira in 1999 to over 6 trillion in 2016, poverty has grown almost at the same rate.
And it, together with NIPS, will partner with the federal government. There are abandoned research papers on the critical issue of religious insurgency. I must add that as government is winning the war against terrorism, the Ministry of Interior must urgently and proactively intervene in preventing and apprehending the increased cases of avoidable communal conflicts, as the case now in Agatu has shown.
In Jos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the National Film Institute Jos will be modeled to play a pivotal role in line with its mandate. The minister said this shortly after inspecting facilities at the institute during his working visit to Jos. Anthony Forson again reports.
The National Film Institute was established to be Nigeria's foremost training institution under the Nigerian Film Corporation. The institute's program are drawn to cater for filmmakers and intending filmmakers in Nigeria and abroad's need. And so, when the minister came visiting, the managing director, Nigeria Film Corporation, Denjuma Dadu, who took the minister round, said the institute has the potential to stand as a world-class institute in filmmaking.
In realizing that with the facilities we now have a lot of facilities. In 2013 alone, we benefited from World Bank. It's a big project. We had a lot of equipment, cameras, we even had a bus. And now with this testing, with the facilities we have facilities enough to venture into more than film, into media acts because of the interrelationship.
The minister on his part said he is impressed and will work towards ensuring that the institute meet its mandate.
When you look at the Film Corporation especially, it's meant to play a pivotal role in the film industry in Nigeria. The law setting up the Film Corporation actually saddles responsibility for development of the film industry. It also gives it, the responsibility to support the industry, even to give resources and finance, film production and the like. But it's like giving a lot of responsibility, but very little resources to match it. These are areas we are going to look into.
In Jos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The present administration says it is set to launch the cleanup of Agoniland in a matter of weeks. Minister of Environment Amina Mohammed announced this during a visit to Agoniland. The minister met with key stakeholders and traditional rulers in Agoniland preparatory to the launch of the cleanup exercise. Environment correspondent Aisha Bello Mustafa reports.
In keeping with President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to implement the United Nations Environmental Programme report on the cleanup of Agoniland, the Ministry of Environment initiated informal meetings with key stakeholders to ensure inclusiveness. Little wonder then that the youth and people of Agoniland turned out en masse to welcome the minister and her team.
Your visit was greatly desired with equally high hopes as it marks the actualization of the collective dream of Ogoni people with respect to the restoration of the devastated environment of the Ogoni people.
At the Peace and Freedom Square, Bori, the welcome was heartwarming. The president of MOSOP said the people welcome the current initiative to consult with them to chart a way forward for Agoniland. There were questions from different groups with regards to their roles in the cleanup. The Minister of Environment assured the people that everyone will be carried along and that the federal government has identified key activities to be carried out immediately after the launch to enhance the livelihood of the people as well as engender sustainable development.
This is the beginning of the end of the struggle. Therefore, we need everyone to stand united. The issues, the challenges, the injustice, those who have lost their lives to the struggle, did it in the name of the unity and peace and prosperity for Agoniland. And that's what we must fight for: peace, unity and prosperity for Agoniland.
The minister and her team also visited the governors of Bayelsa and Rivers State. The two governors assured the minister that their state governments will give all the necessary support to ensure the success of the cleanup.
Once we begin the cleanup, how do we stay clean? How do we protect the environment? How do we ensure that the young people who are involved in a lot of this no longer feel that they have that option, that their option in fact is a brighter and prosperous future in building their futures within the Niger Delta.
Aisha Bello Mustafa, NTA News.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has berated the rate at which the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has become ineffective in its responsibilities in recent times. The former president made the observation during his 79th birthday celebration in Abeokuta. Lekon Agbonde has the details.
The occasion witnessed a turnout of dignitaries that include family members, political associates, serving and former governors, members of the Federal Executive Council, and others who came to celebrate the former president at 79. It was a moment of eulogies as they extolled the attributes of the man who they described as a detribalized Nigerian, a true nationalist, and elder statesman.
Everybody agrees on one thing, and that is the fact that Baba is a nationalist. Baba is neither ethnic or tribal irredentist.
In my state, he is an icon that will go down in the annals of history as a man of justice.
Nigerians agree that you love Nigeria. I have never seen any Nigerian that has disagreed that you don't love.
The former president commended the EFCC for its achievements at the pioneering era, but noted that the commission had become lukewarm in the recent time. Speaking on the theme of the colloquium for the birthday celebration, human security, violent extremism, and radicalization, seeking sustainable solutions, Chief Obasanjo noted that stakeholders at the 6 levels of social life must contribute towards elimination of violence to enthrone peace and security.
The state, local government, state government, federal government, and in the international community. At each of these, we do things that we should not do, and we leave undone things that we should do.
Dignitaries thereafter joined the former president and his wife in cutting of the birthday cake. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria. More news after the break.
Nigerians, our fearless officers and men of the Nigerian military are winning the war against Boko Haram. Today, all occupied territories have been recovered and Boko Haram has been degraded. Our affected brothers and sisters are getting their lives back. However, they are now after you and me. In our mosques, churches, schools, motor parks, markets, entertainment centers, and public gatherings. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me. Nigeria, unite against terrorism.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Nigeria, with over 60% of our population engaged in agricultural activities, is adopting the genetic modification of microorganism technology to boost her national food production as the farming system is being threatened by desert encroachment, soil degradation, and infertility. In this report, Musa Baba Aliyu takes a look at the level of adoption of the GMO technology, the benefits, and the side effects.
Over the years, the over 60 million farmers in Nigeria, most of them cultivating small portion of land, have been battling with environmental and weather challenges to improve their output. Insect infestation, pests and diseases are also challenges confronting the smallholder farmers as they spend most of their income on chemicals and fertilizer to improve the yield of their crops. It is based on this that the federal government was advised to adopt the genetic modification technology to meet the demand and supply of food to our teeming population.
We have to deploy this technology to Nigeria so that our farmers, will be able to go into business.
The peasant farmer will have available to them or to implement, crops that are highly resistant to diseases.
With Nigeria having the approval to adopt the technology in her farming system after meeting all the international requirements such as establishment of biosafety law, the production of GM crops is yet to commence in any part of the country.
Yes, Nigeria is ready. Nigerian scientists are ready, and I'm sure Nigerian farmers are ready. What may not be properly in place, it is an advocacy package.
Are genetically modified crops safe for consumption? This is the question in the mouth of most Nigerians.
There will be no report in any learned scientific first-class journal that has shown that GM crops are deleterious to health.
The law for the adoption of the technology in the country was passed by the 7th Assembly and assented to by the then president. The present administration, however, says it is weighing both the advantages and the side effects of the technology before adopting it in her food production strategy.
We haven't taken a decision. Before we do, we shall be consulting widely. Some countries seem to have carried on, even in West Africa, applying it to cotton and so on. We are not taking a leap forward in that because we haven't quite concluded our own investigations. We have our apprehensions, just like some of the Europeans. The Americans and the Brazilians think there's nothing wrong. One day maybe we will, but I can't tell you exactly when.
In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Counting has begun in the 2016 presidential election in Benin Republic. Correspondent Musbah Dan Wahab reports that voting ended at 4 o'clock this evening.
From the capital, Port Novo, to Cotonou in other parts of Benin, accreditation and voting commenced spontaneously between 7 and 7:15 a.m. in most polling centers. It is a process that Benin electorates are obviously committed to, doing that in an orderly manner. But then, to enter the polling booths, electorates must be free of their mobile phones and other extraneous materials. That is a standing rule that even the incumbent president, Boniyayi, had to comply with before he was allowed to vote. Electorates in Gambia and other riverine communities of Benin were not left out as they proceeded to play their civic role. Party agents as well as voters expressed satisfaction with the organization of the election.
Oui, le processus, ça se passe bien. Jusqu'à présent, tout se déroule dans les normes.
From the outset of the process, ECOWAS delegation, led by head of the observation mission, Kabene Komara, and ECOWAS Commission President, Kadro Ouedraogo, have been monitoring the developments.
What we have been noticing that every polling station has opened on time, and we had all the materials. And not only that, we also witnessed the presence of different stakeholders.
You know that ECOWAS has dispatched 136 observers on the ground, and we hope that they will be in a position to let us have an opinion of the problem. But what we have seen so far is good. The polling station opened on time. The materials are there. All the representatives of the candidate, the Constitutional Court, were all present. I think so far everything is okay.
During the election, residents moved freely in and around Cotonou, and presence of security personnel were only limited to the polling stations. In Cotonou, Benin Republic, Muspal and Wahab, NTA News.
For stories in other parts of the world, here is Muplang Dakok.
United States Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump has called for a one-on-one battle with Ted Cruz, urging other